One tap only. One tap only. We're going international.
One enemy remaining.
What is up YouTube, it's Dr. Zora here, helping cure you from being a noob. Today's topic is about game sense. I've made a video on this before, so make sure to check that out as well. But this video is also going to go through game sense with further examples and more tips to help you aim better and outplay your enemies. First off, game sense is the ability for you to understand what's going on during a game and taking that information to make the best decision possible that'll give you the best odds of grabbing kills and allowing you to win the round. A lot of people think games like Valorant are just about putting your crosshair on people's head and tapping them, and they are right to some degree, but there's a lot of strategy and planning that you have to do to get yourself in that position to grab the kills in the first place, and that is what game sense is all about. With game sense, you'll be able to outplay your opponents, drop 30 bombs, and win every game. Enough with the intro, let's get into the video. We're gonna go over the tips that you need to develop game sense, as well as some examples to help you out. If this video helps you out, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below what you think your current level of game sense is. Let's get into it.
Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 212s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in a new style. Yeah, lead a cloud with a few.
Jumping right into it, the first tip to developing game sense is by reviewing the actions that you do in game and seeing if you could have played that scenario better. Along with that, you can review your teammates and the enemy's plays as well, and also consider if they played the round right or they had some tweaks they could have done as well. To give you an example, we're going to start off with a very simple clip here. It's a 1 vs 1 duel, and Raze actually knows that Omen was last seen on A, but the enemy Omen doesn't know where Raze is. But the issue here is that Raze decides to take an angle at window, but she takes a very narrow window. It's very hard to see if Omen even passes with this angle. If you know where the enemy is going to come from, you want to pick a spot that they won't expect, but you also want to pick a spot where you have a good shot at hitting them. Luckily, Raze notices that Omen slipped by her angle, so she is repositioning herself, but makes a little bit of noise to drop down, in which she gives her location away, so now both positions are known, and it's now a 50-50 duel when it could have been a Raze advantage. So a better way that Raze could have approached this situation is to peek an angle that was wider so that she can get a clearer idea of where Omen comes and get a nice shot onto him. So if we think about Omen's perspective, he's gonna come here, he just got an elimination, he's trying to get the spike, he'll check spawn a little bit, see if anyone's here, and then from there he'll check into window, and then he might check this angle, this is a common one to pick, and he might check a little bit back here. So Raze could play any angle besides those, so even going just a little bit towards the left compared to the angle over here, that could catch him a little bit off guard, give you an advantage, or picking a little angle over here that's slightly away from this wall, that can also give you a nice surprise angle. Just anything really, you can go along these lines as well, picking a position that he's unlikely to put his crosshair in, that will give you the most advantage and allow you to win the round, versus when she was just here, you could barely get a peek onto the Omen here. You can barely see that. He can walk by no problem, unless you're like Kenny S from CSGO that just has lightning fast reactions to get that little angle right there. Alright, so that clip was very simple. We're changing up the position to something that's more optimal. And now we're going to get into the more nitty gritty details with this clip. In this clip, pay attention to Sage and Phoenix's approach to retaking the B bomb site. Sage and Phoenix are in a 2 vs 1 on the enemy Sova. They clear the site, and now it's highly likely that Sova is in spawn or garage. But if he's in garage, it's going to be a very loud push anyway, and there'll be plenty of time for the team to react to it. So what happens is Sage defuses the bomb while Phoenix tries to stall the enemy, and sure enough, Sova is in spawn and he wins the duel against Phoenix. The issue that occurs now is that Sage immediately gets off the spike afterwards, and she grabs the elimination on Sova, but now there's no longer enough time to defuse. Considering it takes about 7 to 8 seconds to defuse the spike, Sage definitely had ample time to get to the halfway point, and then it would have been a good idea to peek the Sova again and challenge him. Another thing to note is that with the time left, it's pretty obvious where Sage is, so peeking a little later wouldn't have been a big deal anyway, since her location is already known. Plus with Peeker's advantage where you can see an enemy a few milliseconds before they do, she would have been in a good position as well, even if the peek was late. So if Sage had gone the defuse to halfway, she might have been able to clutch and then defuse the bomb and win the round. Instead, she let go of the spike too early and then she didn't have any more time. Next up is thinking about how you can use abilities appropriately to help you win a round or get a kill. You have abilities such as flashbangs from Phoenix and Breach to blind enemies, but you also have other abilities that you can use to distract the enemy so that you can surprise them and frag out. The biggest examples for this are Sova's Owl and Raze's Boombot. You can use Sova's Owl drone to look for enemies, but you can also have a teammate behind it so that if they see an enemy, they can eliminate them. Most players will be distracted by the owl and will have their crosshair up high to shoot it down, in which your teammate can have their crosshair on their head and eliminate them. This is a poor clip to show, but you can see how the owl can be distracting here, and it allows me to just pop up for an elimination on Sage. You can also do this with Raze's Boombot, and it doesn't require an additional player, but you have less flexibility of where you want the bot to go. Simply send your Boombot out and then peek with it, and most of the time if the enemy peeks back, they'll be aimed and distracted by the bot, and you can again peek out and eliminate them. You can also have a teammate that is positioned better for the peek, and the concept's the same. You use the bot as a distraction, and if it finds someone and gives that alert message, you and your teammates can react and get the elimination. Likewise, you also want to check what abilities the enemy has. From this clip, I can see that the enemy Brimstone has his ultimate, so if I was to plant in a common position on B's site, he'd probably use it to delay the plant and give him some more time to position and try to clutch. Instead, I plant at a pretty unusual position, and you can see, just like I said, Brimstone decides to ult into the most common plant spot, and because I knew this was going to happen, I outmaneuvered him. Coming up next, this clip goes over repositioning and making sure that you peek one angle at a time. This starts out with me using my ultimate as Jett and trying to position myself at a more unexpected angle. I peek into garage and I see Phoenix, but I commit a little too much. You can see this shot that I peeked way too wide, and as a result, I was exposed to both the enemy Phoenix and the enemy Sova. In normal circumstances, I should have been a dead man. Luckily, these players weren't very good, so I was able to kill Phoenix and then hide. And the hiding part is also important as well, since there is a little delay after hitting the right click shot on Jett. So I needed to wait for that to reset, and then I was able to peek again and take out Sova. To better play this out, what we should have done is we should have peeked one angle at a time. So I should have peeked sharply onto the left side, challenge the Phoenix here, and then from that point, check again, make sure no enemies are still there, and then when it's safe, go peek a little bit more to the right, and then challenge the Sova and get the elimination on him, versus what we did was we're just swinging wide and just challenging both of them at once, and we'd have to flick one to the other, and it would be a 1 versus 2, versus what we did here, one at a time. We would end up with 2 1v1s instead of a 1 versus 2. From here out, I end up facing Raze in a 1 versus 1, and I had the spike. She actually didn't see me at all, so my initial position was actually very good. I'm at an angle where she's unlikely to place her crosshair in, but I make the mistake of getting antsy and peeking. But I actually lucked out on this because she was prepping a grenade in that direction, and this was a good move by Raze since she doesn't know where I am, so she can use that grenade to clear out the right side of garage. From here, my position is known, and now I'm at low health, so the best option for me to play now is a position where I'd be most difficult to hit, which is behind this crate here, which covers the lower part of my body. And from here, I win the aim duel due to this position, but I'd also like to go over Raze's moves here. If we replay this, it looked like she was still worried about the right side of garage, and so she peeked there before peeking the left, but she already cleared that out with the nade, so this was unnecessary. The satchel play was definitely a good move as well, and had she peeked the right spot, I may have lost the engagement. So let's look at how this could have turned out if Raze played a little bit differently. So going back to this from Raze's perspective, she did a good job here, throwing the nade, clearing the right corner of garage, and really clearing that right side. So now she knows she can focus on the left, and she can clear this nice and slow and check outside garage, see if anyone's there, and then just shoot if there is one. But if there's not, now the last angle that she has to peek is behind these crates here. So now that she has that information, now she can use this satchel and then position her crosshair ahead of time, and then use it to bounce her a little bit and then aim and get the shot that way, versus if she just dry peeked it, like so, it would be more of a 50-50, actually more in favor of me since I have only a little bit of my body exposed and then I can shoot her that way. So this satchel play again was good, but she had to position herself, clear the angles a little bit better, and then from there she could get the kill like that, and then I'd have to actually flick my crosshair over to the left. That's all I have for this video. As you can see, we went through just a couple of clips and we already learned so much. We want to make sure that we review the VODs that we do to make sure that we can make better plays next time, and we also want to make sure that we play good angles so we can peek the enemy appropriately, and that we use our abilities as well to help us get those rounds and help us get those kills. Not only that, but the last thing we went over is repositioning to make sure that you peek one angle at a time and to make sure that you play a little bit sharper and clear those angles, so that again you get those 1 versus 1 duels and you aim where the enemy's gonna be. Now go into your VODs, review your own gameplay, and use the tips here, and I guarantee you will make a lot of progress. Again, if this video helps you out, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below on the actions you're gonna take now to improve your game sense. I'm Dr. Zora, helping cure you from being a noob, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Hello.